Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Louise Huber begins now.
Good evening. The state government is in further disarray tonight with Elise Archer quitting Parliament. Sacked by the Premier this morning over bullying allegations, she's resigned, claiming the Liberal Party doesn't support ambitious women. For more, we're joined now by state political reporter Josh Duggan. Good evening, Josh. It's been a quick end to a long political career.
It has, Lou. Things have developed quickly since complaints were made public yesterday about a toxic workplace culture inside the Attorney General's office. She leaves her position as an MP after 13 years. At the end of what's already been an enormous week, the Premier looked weary today. His government is now in an even more precarious position. They're already in minority and now expected to push back the next week of Parliament to avoid a no-confidence motion from the opposition and a potential trigger for an early election. But despite all that, the Premier is firm his government will carry on.
Another body blow to a government leaking Liberals left and right.
I requested and received her resignation from Cabinet.
The sensational sacking comes after claims of bullying in her office were referred to the Anti-Discrimination Commissioner and Premier, with the Australian publishing text messages from Ms Archer, calling a staffer an airhead, mocking colleague Sarah Courtney's relationship, saying Peter Gutwin had a glass jaw, and calling the current Premier gutless.
I cannot accept a culture of belittling.
Ms Archer has quit Parliament in return, saying, "It is clear to me that the leadership of the Liberal Party continues to fail to support ambitious women." Ms Archer was elected to Parliament in 2010, became the House's first female Speaker in 2014 and then Attorney General in 2018. A reputation as a tireless worker, but her office resembling a turnstile at times. 18 staffers left the 10-person unit between 2019 and 22, with rumours of dissatisfaction. One former employee told 7 Tasmania News, quote, "She's getting what she deserves."
If culture is to change in this state, it requires leadership and accountability. And that starts from the top.
It was only once this hit the front page of the newspaper that did anything at all, which speaks to his leadership.
Hobart City Councillor Simon Barakis is expected to replace her in a recount. Parliament's next sitting may be delayed while it occurs. A cabinet replacement expected to be announced next week. Today marking further instability, the 5th Liberal MP to quit Parliament since 2021's election, along with another cabinet resignation and 2 defections to the crossbench.
Is your government falling apart, Premier?
No.
Just days after embarking on the state's greatest challenge to date. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
The Tasmanian Greens want an independent review of abuse cases handled by alleged pedophile police officer Paul Reynolds. The Greens say an interstate expert with no link to the Tasmanian force should head it to ensure nothing fell through the cracks.
We have long been concerned at the appropriate role of the Tasmanian Police in making sure complaints of child sex abuse are brought to justice.
Labor has indicated support for an inquiry. Police Minister Felix Ellis was contacted for comment. Footy mania is sweeping Tasmania as die-hard Collingwood and Brisbane fans gear up for tomorrow's blockbuster clash. They might not be making the trip to the MCG, but these local supporters are promising to cheer as if they were.
Bleeding black and white. It's a nervous wait for this Collingwood die-hard.
A little bit anxious. I can't wait to the first bounce and kick it off underway. Very excited.
The lifelong supporter lives and breathes his mighty Magpies, confident a 13-year premiership drought will be broken when the final siren sounds tomorrow.
It's been a long road. I've lost a couple in that 13 years. You never know what happens on the day, but I'm fairly confident they'll win, but I always am.
Emotions will be high, not ruling out some waterworks if Darcy Moore lifts the premiership cup.
Peter Moore presents the cup to his son, and I may even shed a tear if that happens.
On the other side of the fence, meet some of Brisbane's youngest fans. They may not have been alive the last time the Lions tasted premiership glory, but they're just as hungry.
Pretty nervous because last time won 20 years, but I reckon we could get it done. Hopefully win by 20 or so points and, yeah, just keep those Magpie people quiet.
From the Gabba to the G, they're backing them in every step of the way.
They communicate together really well and they're never giving up and hard at the ball.
Celebrating a Lions legacy, hoping to tear the Pies apart.
Oh, I'm pretty excited. They've had a great season and, yeah, obviously playing the enemy in Collingwood.
Roaring with some fighting supporter confidence.
Hopefully all the other non-Collingwood supporters are barracking for Brisbane on Saturday.
Go Lions!
Go the Pies! Bring it home!
Victoria Easto, 7 Tasmania News.
Officers from across Tasmania marked National Police Remembrance Day with a ceremony held at the Police Academy in Rokeby. The service paid respect to those who lost their lives while serving the community, as well as their families, friends and colleagues.
A total of 203 police officers have died whilst in the service of Tasmania Police.
Governor Barbara Baker, alongside the Police Association President and the Tasmanian Police Commissioner, shared their thanks at the service. Paul Kelly has touched down in Hobart as Yes 23 campaigning ramps up around the country. The singer, alongside Australian filmmaker Rachel Perkins, is performing it in the Hanging Garden, encouraging Tasmanians to be informed and vote in the upcoming Voice referendum.
It's important here, I think, to get a really strong yes vote, and Tasmania is one of the places we have strong support for yes. So we're here to show that we really care.
Anyone coming tonight, if they've got questions or if they've got a point of view they want to express that's different to ours, that's what we're here for.
Locals treated to a pre-concert show this afternoon, with many showing up in support. When Chris Fagan enters the MCG coach's box tomorrow, many Tasmanians will be behind him. The Queenstown boy has risen from playing on the town's famous oval to coaching on the game's most hallowed surface. Those who played with and against him say it's no mistake he's reached the highest level.
From gravel to the Gabba to grand final day at the G, Chris Fagan treads a unique path.
There's a lot of Brisbane Lions supporters down here and there's a lot of Fitzroy supporters still live in Victoria.
Starting with premierships as a player.
Grab here by Fagan. Fagan, a quick snapshot.
Followed by stints at North Hobart, Sandy Bay and the Mariners. His rise coming as no surprise.
A really great communicator and really caring person about his people and his players.
When he was coaching at North Hobart, it was very evident that he was the sort of personality and had the characteristics.
Premiership teammate Michael Krause says Fagan earned respect by not bringing his day job to training.
He didn't pretend to be a teacher. He was always like a coach, and because he learned from a lot of other people.
Demons legend Mark Devine believes he was ahead of his time.
He was probably of that new generation of analytical, bringing players along on the journeys.
Speaking to him recently, he says Fagan's care for others remains.
He wanted to engage with me and other people just to touch base and see how I was going.
Tomorrow's game will have a distinct Tasmanian flavour to it. Grant Birchall will be a runner for the Lions, while the Magpies will have Brendan Bolton and Graham Wright in the box, and Brodie Myercheck and Jeremy Howe playing. Putting Scott Wade in a tough position, as Howe is his nephew.
We wish Chris all the best of luck, but I probably want Collingwood to win this one.
The West Coast also getting behind a favourite son.
We on the West Coast still see Chris as one of our locals from way back. But
John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
Drivers in Launceston are being reminded they'll need to slow down on some busy roads, with speed limit changes being rolled out from next week. Speeds will drop from 60 to 50 kilometres an hour on Bathurst Street and parts of Wellington and High Streets, while limits will lower from 50 to 40 kilometres an hour in the CBD and outside the Mowbray and Kings Meadows shopping centres. Council will also install new signs to make the changes clear to drivers. Tasmanian prison inmates are lending a hand to a unique employment initiative. Dress for Success partnering with Mary Hutchinson Women's Prison to help tackle an important conversation around workplace rights and equality.
Made by hand and much more than a simple accessory.
We thought what better way to include the women that we've been supporting for these past few years in something that enabled them to really give back.
Inmates from the Mary Hutchinson Women's Prison in Risdon Vale gathered to make 50 brooches out of recycled fabrics. They'll be given to Dress for Success donors. The initiative supports women by providing clothes for job interviews, court dates or special occasions, and gives them a fair chance of getting back on their feet.
I designed the brooches. The challenge to design the brooch was actually to design something that anyone could actually make with little or no experience at all with sewing.
It's one of many homemade projects currently underway, and for many inmates, a chance to give back.
Prison can be really shut off and they can lose a lot of connections in the community. So programs like this gives the women opportunity to give back to the community.
The project aiming to support women at home, at work and everywhere in between.
There's a strong sustainability element to it, and so this really is a symbol of hope for the future for the support that we can give for women in our community.
Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
Heaven, Earth and all things between are on show from this weekend as Mona unveils 3 new exhibitions. International artist Yonzi is preparing his latest work, a sensory simulation of a volcano. It's going on display in Tasmania before anywhere else in the country.
And you enter the installation, which is you enter it in complete darkness and you're surrounded by 195 speakers, so you're just completely immersed in this installation.
We can't help ourselves. Our fascination with presenting excellent art from all over the world allows us to make bad decisions that end up being great.
While other pieces explore themes of religion, self-identity and sound. Doors open from tomorrow. Meanwhile, mental health and wellbeing is the centre of the latest exhibition to be unveiled at the QV Mag Inveresk. Minds Do Matter showcases 150 works from young artists through to more seasoned creatives and hopes to spark positive conversations around mental health.
So many participants, community members, artists who come together to just talk about, their views. They share their lived experience and creatively move this dialogue along.
It's something that's good not only for the mind but for the soul. And you can get lost just like a meditation process when everything's going well.
The annual display is celebrating its 15th edition. This year's theme focused around awareness, belonging and connection.
And finally, the Tasmanian Jack Jumpers are about to hit the court for their season opener. The Jackies are marching west to take on NBL powerhouse, the Perth Wildcats, a team they beat 3 times last season. They'll be hoping to start their campaign off on the right foot when they tip off in around 3 hours' time.
Good evening. Hobart recorded just 15 degrees today. Launceston, Burnie and Cressy are top with 21. Devonport a high of 20. Temperatures in the north between 3 and 6 above average. St Helens and Scottsdale 20. Friendly Beaches and Fingal 19. Bushy Park 18. 17 at Grove and Flinders Island. King Island and Strawn 16. Plenty of low cloud across the state today. A few showers over the west and south, keeping things cool. Clear skies over most of the continent. Patchy low cloud over parts of Queensland, Western Australia and the NT. Not much to mention. Tomorrow the high moves over the Tasman Sea, a trough and cold front over waters south of the Bight. Winds not letting up though. Tomorrow nor'westerlies up to 20 to 30 knots over the east and south, swells to 3 metres in western waters. We have a strong wind warning, that's from Flinders Island to Tasman Island and from southeast Cape to Low Rocky Point along with the southwest lakes. The grand final day forecast looks like this. Partly cloudy in Hobart, 23 the maximum, that's better, 19 for Medina. Oatlands a high of 23. Launceston 22 the top and partly cloudy but fine, 19 for Devonport, 17 the high for Lyowini. Burnie expecting a top of 19, partly cloudy but fine. The chance of a shower for Strawn 70%, 19 the top and 19 for Marrawar. St Helens tomorrow 23 degrees, 24 for Swansea, partly cloudy but fine for Orford, 25 the maximum. On Sunday the showers back, extending statewide before easing and contracting to the west. Fine weather on Monday, plenty of sunshine, But Tuesday, back around to the wet weather again, with showers more frequent over the north and west. A shower or two in Perth tomorrow, a sunny 32 for Adelaide, fine and 26 in Canberra and Sydney, a nice day in Brisbane as well, and no chance of rain over the MCG tomorrow. In fact, by half-time, the temperatures should be around 29 to 30 degrees with pretty strong northerly winds. Here, though, it's cloudy in Hobart, 10 right now, 16 in Launceston, Devonport mostly cloudy and 13 degrees. Louise, you won't believe this, I've come across the biggest grand final omen you'll ever hear about. I opened my sports app today and I was going to have $1 on Collingwood to win the grand final. So I put it all in, pressed the button, and this came up. Chances are you're about to lose. That's an omen if I've ever seen it. No good, sorry Lou, bad luck.
You told me they were going to lose last time as well, Murph, and they didn't, so I think you're wrong once again. That's all your news for this Friday. We'll be back later with updates, and I will see you again tomorrow. Thanks for joining us. Good night.